Can y'all see the PowerPoint or like the slides on my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We'll give everybody a couple minutes to arrive. Welcome, everyone. So excited you're here. Yay.
Thanks for greeting everyone, Bunny.
I love seeing like people pop up. I think it's so great.
You're like, hi, friends.
Yeah. So as people are coming in, I'm muting your lines so we don't have too much background noise. But we'll get into introductions very soon. I want to give everybody a few minutes to show up and get comfy.
I was trying to see if there was a way for me to edit my camera settings so it didn't make me so blown out, and it's just not. So,
You're just a light beam. You can't help it.
where we're at today.
Ooh, there's already people in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna like try to not do everything at the same time.
Yeah. Do you want me to do the chat and then we will do the announcements and housekeeping?
Sure, that works.
What?
Yeah, since I can't.
Okay, let me open the chat.
Appreciate. My arm is so itchy, y'all.
I bet. That was this week, right?
Day before yesterday? No. What's today? Yeah, day before yesterday.
Do you have second skin on it or no?
No, I just have lotion on it right now. I had Tegaderm on it for 24 hours, and that was probably even more itchy than this.
Yeah.
All right.
Yay.
Let's
All right.
dive in.
You want to make it big, the PowerPoint version?
If I do full screen, then I can't see anything other than the
I'm
PowerPoint.
kidding. This is great. Next screen, please.
Can you see the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just smaller?
Yeah, just a little bit smaller, but that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, because if I make it, full, like if I do full screen, then I can't see the event at all.
We want you to still be able to see.
Thanks.
Can you go to the next slide for me?
Yeah. So yay, our quickest connection.
Yeah. So some quick tips. You're going to want to keep probably the PowerPoint as the main square for the most part, but let's say someone's sharing about their artwork and you want to see them, you could be double-clicking on any of the images and it'll lock their position as your main view. You just have to hit the lock button to keep it there, otherwise it only lasts for 20 seconds. When you're not sharing, please make sure that you keep your line muted so everyone can hear without a lot of noise. If you have a question that you want to pose while someone's talking, you can always throw it into the chat. Or there's reactions that you can like raise your hand, say that you have something to say, like just by waving at the camera, and we'll unmute you and invite you to speak. And just as a heads up, we do record audio and video from these events, so if that's an issue for you, you can always turn your video off or not submit images, or you can email us directly to request exclusion. Again, these videos just stay within our community. At most, we might take clips of it to share you know, on YouTube or on our website so that people can see what the events are all about. So that's about it. Move into introduction. So we'll stay in speaker view probably for this so you can see everybody's faces. And you'll just share your name, your pronouns, and you can share how you're feeling and describe it with a movement. So does anybody feel inspired to demonstrate and go first? Demo this? Okay.
We don't have anyone like raising their hand for it. I can demo.
Okay. Get away, Bunny.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, I'm Bunny. My pronouns are they, them. I'm feeling excited and a little nervous because I'm always a little like activated at the beginning of these. So my movement, I'm gonna give myself a hug.
I like that. Yeah. Cool. My name is Leor. My pronouns are also they, them. I am feeling really cozy and lucky to be surrounded by so many familiar faces. And I just like wish I could squeeze all of you and give you a hug, so that's my movement. You can just unmute yourself if you want to go next.
Hi, my name is Doug, and my pronouns are he, him, and I guess I'm feeling a little anxious at the moment as I'm waiting on a furniture delivery that might require me to pop in and out briefly at some point, or maybe even, as soon as it gets here, I might have to drop out. But so my movement would be
Okay, hi, my name is Raquel, my pronouns are she, they. I'm actually feeling relaxed and tired because I was shooting just like half an hour ago. So I'm like totally in Zen mode. So my movement is just, I will be like this a lot because it's raining, it's dark, so yeah, it's cozy mode.
Hi, I'm Alexia. My pronouns are she, her. My feeling is a little frazzled because my computer decided to play some tricks on me as I tried to log in. So my movement is like, ah, but we're good now.
Hi.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Meg. My pronouns are she, they, and I'm feeling happy and excited.
Hello, everyone. I'm new. My name's Jacqueline. My pronouns are she, her. And I'm feeling anxious this morning, so I guess my movement would be blah.
Good morning. My name is Roger. My pronouns are he, him, ish. I am feeling very weary, and my movement is breath.
All right.
Hello, I'm Marcus. Pronouns are they, them, and I'm hungry, so my movement will be eating.
Good morning. My name is Jay. He, him. I'm definitely with this anxious boat with you guys. So I guess that'd be like a rocking motion or something.
Hey everyone, I'm Sage. I use any and all pronouns. And today I'm sitting in the one spot of my kitchen that has sunlight, so I'm feeling like a plant. And my movement is just photosynthesizing, however that looks.
Hello, my name is Nuno, he, him, and I'm feeling good today. So this is my moment. Thank you.
Alright, are we ready to move on? And last minute, last chance to introduce or forever hold your name until you decide to introduce yourself later with your art, which is also fine. I think you can go to the next slide. Cool. So just a quick movement practice to get us arrived into the space and in our bodies. What do you have for us, Sunny?
I put this in here just because I wanted to do just something really short, because I think it's a great thing to do at all of our events. But I don't want it to be too long, so I want to spend most of our time in the art. So I invite you to do whatever feels good to your body. I really like putting my hands on my chest or my belly and like feeling my breath, or like taking it out, however that feels good to you. Also, it feels really nice to like rub your face, like in whatever direction feels good, and see Rory rolling their neck, rubbing your head, maybe like barking your fingers, whatever helps you like get into your body. Nothing that takes too long, no pressure.
I think tapping is like my favorite thing ever. It like doesn't even matter where it is.
Yeah.
It just feels like so good.
Yes. I'm gonna change back to gallery view. Okay. Do we feel like we have enough movement? Are we ready for the art?
Let's get it. Yeah, so just a little preface. This is an uncensored art space, and there are increasingly fewer and fewer of those. So, you know, all bodies and body parts have potential to be present here, and we invite you to sit with any discomfort if it arises, and just take care of yourself as you need. You can come in and out of this experience, you know, moderate for your internal, you know, environment. If you need to sort of turn your video off and take a moment of space, no one's going to take it personally. You know, we are all showing up to the best of our ability, and, you know, we acknowledge that there are risks in diving into an uncensored art space, but that there's also a lot of value in trying to sit with and absorb each other's, you know, authenticity and be present for that. So, yeah, we invite you to do that however you need. Time to share the work you submitted! Yay! So if the art is yours, I invite you to speak up when you see your slide and just, you know, take a minute or two sharing a little bit about the piece or about yourself, whatever feels good. I love the skin textures on this one.
To me, it looks like coconut rope, and I know how uncomfortable and scratchy that is. Well, for my skin. It might not feel that way for everyone's skin.
I really like the light and the shadow of the markings on the legs. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
I like how much space the belly takes up as well. Like the belly is like sort of this front and center object, almost like the person at the bow of the ship. The way to, like, you know, how they carve sort of those figures. That's what it makes me think of, like, sort of having this softness be front and center of like this big, like the weight of that shadow behind the body, and like almost like they're holding up the house. So interesting.
So in the chat, Alexia said, "This is beautiful. I was about to say the same as Leora. The texture of the photo is lovely. Coconut rope is dead-ass torture." Both the skin and rope texture and also the model texture of the background. So it's really interesting that the texture of the skin is very different than the peeling paint in the background. I like the door in the background. Is someone going to come in? Is it an escape? It's a lot of thought and thinking about where the body is placed. Why was the body placed there? I love the unabashed presence of softness squeezing through the gaps in the rope. Doug said that. Jay, is this part of a series? How's the location charged for you? So these are really good observations and questions. I love how everyone just dived in really quickly. Are there any more observations or questions we might have before going to the next slide?
I think that a lot of time in shibari photography that there's only certain body types that are preferred to be displayed, and so I think it's really nice to see someone's body that I can resonate with, like that's what I look like in rope, you know, and I think that's really, really beautiful to share different sizes and different, you know, composition of people's bodies.
I fully agree.
Yeah, totally. Jacqueline, just to piggyback off of what you mentioned, I love how they're really using, like, in this composition, they're using the body type, like, they're using the squishiness. They're not, like, shying away from it, which is, like, normally that's sort of, you know, like, when you see, like, that opulent, the abundance of flesh, like, I think visually people often shy away from that, but here it's, like, this gorgeous texture. It makes it so much more engaging as an image, you know?
Right. A question I've always had about rope. Why do people emphasize connection so much to the point where it's treated almost religiously? And Arthur said, there's something fascinating about the use of light and what it's guiding us towards. Raquel, the fact that this was a choice to connection topic, I do share that opinion on shibari. It's a huge connection between rigor and bottom with itself. I think when you have large sensation, it helps you connect to your body. So if you're someone that numbs out frequently, something like this could help you make a connection. I'm making an assumption. I'm not the artist. I didn't create it, but that would be, you know, maybe my response.
For me personally with rope, it's the trust. So, like, you're allowing someone to take your movement away from you, put you in whatever position they want to. I mean, obviously within your limits, but, you know, you're giving someone so much trust over your body. I think that that connection is necessary to be able to do it. And when a photographer or a painter or any artist captures that, it's palpable. You can feel that connection between the rigor and the bottom. I think it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite photography topics, so I think it's great.
It's funny that Marcus brought up, like, the point, you know, where connection is treated almost like religiously, and it very much is an act of faith that you're participating in, because you're having faith that this person's going to take care of you. You're having faith that your body is strong enough to undergo this sensation. You're having faith that these big emotions aren't going to crush you, even though sometimes that is how it feels, you know, when they come and they rush into the body. So I think that that trust is 100% necessary in order to, like, navigate it safely, and that the safety isn't even really Because really we don't know. It is a risk. We don't know if, can my hip take this single food sale? I don't know. I'm going to ask really nicely, and you take care of yourself really well afterwards and be like, thank you, organism, for not breaking down. But I think it's super necessary. It's like part of that draw.
So Meg said, I really enjoy the emphasis on the belly-womb space. The space of beauty and creation, there's a lot of energy and matter in the space, almost honoring the sacredness of it. Marcus has shared trust. I think my problem is that so much of my own trust in rope was repeatedly broken and violated. The ropes are the same on the boats. They're usually strong. As consistent communication, because not all days are the same indeed. Great. A lot of feedback on that one.
Are we ready to move to the next image? Oh.
Hi there. So this is my piece, or this first of two pieces I submitted. And the models are Bunny Luna and Lior Ale. The image was taken at a workshop, conscious creativity workshop we had at Crossing Hedgerows in September of 2019. I think on the outside, the image of why I chose this for connection, I think is quite obvious. It shows the connection of two Fey beings coming together and greeting each other. But also, there's a lot of underlayers to this. There's a lot of connection in this image and in this experience that was had because it was my first time ever photographing anybody or any models. It was at a place that's really special to me, the Crossing Hedgerows community. And it was the first time I had gotten Lior and Bunny together, and I helped facilitate them coming together to work together for the very first time as part of this trip that they were on. And then in terms of the overall photo shoot, this is one of the first times after Bunny had come out as non-binary, agender, and I specifically went into this photo shoot telling both of them to be themselves, in the sense with fey ears, but be themselves and not feel the need to pose in any particular way, and I wanted to capture whatever it is they came up with. And this idea came up with by Lior. They wanted to come up with a greeting gesture that wasn't sexual, that was just a matter of connecting two people who hadn't been together for a while or whatever. And so, yeah, this has all sorts of meaning for me. And connection, it was first time meeting Bunny in person, first time photographing Lior, obviously, and it was just an amazing experience. And so I think that's where the connection came. All the hidden connections are more important to me than the actual connection captured within the image.
Ron said the tree branch in the background runs through them, bonding them together. Hank said, I love that you help facilitate the safe space for all. This screams ecosexuality to me, connection to one another in the earth.
Wait till you see the next image.
So
Bunny, would you like to switch?
Oh, there's a lot on this one. Oh.
I think Roger was commenting on the previous one. Sorry about that.
It's okay. I can go back.
Okay, I think on mute go. So there are a lot of literally connective tissue in this one, definitely the ecosexuality. So there are 7 connection points that I see that are all different levels of energy transfer. So what the large bowl branch, that one is tremendous as it goes from Lior's mind through Bunny's in the sense of how the eye is visually drawn, but looking at that tree and how it grew, it is actually growing the other way. So the energy from the earth is coming out. But what you've got, if you look at the connection on the arms, you have the strong grip from Lior and what looks like the placating, gentle grip from Bunny, but that's the power dynamic of, you've also got outside and inside, which arm is overlapped. You also have the illusory connection from the sky to the earth. So if you look over the top of Bunny's head, there is a large-scale trunk back there, straight from the crown. Now, if you look right underneath Lior's right elbow, there is this illusion of a rope or stem or woody layer that is bringing that connection down. So you've got this lightning bolt, a lightning bolt of wood, a lightning bolt of nature coming through. You have the light flowing from left to right. So it is the warmth of the sun coming through from Lior's back, being transferred into Bunny through the shadow. And then the very last one in terms of connection, especially for equal sexuality, is that there is no green overlaying Bunny at all. But the few tiny elements of green are on Lior. So if you take this as what is the overall impact, it is here's this forest spirit, this being of the forest, the earth side, that's Lior, talking to the air side. And they haven't gotten to meet in a while. But yes, there's a lot of connections. All right, pick it up.
Yay, Jay, that was a good share. So in the chat, there's so much action in this image, body language is so energetic. In a still moment, it's electric. Knowing all those layers of connection it brings all together feels magical. Penny, now would you like to switch it to the next image?
Sure.
I think Doug just rejoined us.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. My computer went wonky on me, so I'm now on my iPad. Changed locations here. So this photo, again, the connection that is focused here is on the connection to the Fey beings with the tree that has been cut down, mourning for that loss of that sentient being of the tree. And they're both mourning in slightly different ways, with Bunny touching the tree and Lior kind of sending magical energy through her grief, through their grief. And so that's what this one is capturing. Some of the hidden connections that are in this is that right at this spot, Bunny had spotted some poison ivy that they had pushed away to allow Lior to get closer to the tree there. And also, again, all the connections between the land, the trees, the bringing the two of these people together to participate in this project, and me being my first time as a photographer and working with these two great individuals. So.
I really love the contrasting light and shadow. Like, you can see the really bright sun in the background, but the closer that you get to the actual model, the shadow comes in. The contrasting between the skin tones and the body movements, I think it really works well together. Even though it is so different, I think together it brings it all in.
Thank you.
It's cool to hear about your exploration and honoring of the situation you created.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you. I really love this image. I love both images, and so when this was about connection, I definitely had to find a way to submit both images because I know how important ecosexuality is to Bunny and Lior, to the connection between them, and me. It was a magical day. I mean, and this was at the end of a very long and work day, in the sense that the workshop went on from like 10 a.m. and we were, this is at the end of the evening towards, about 5 or 6 when we were doing this. So we'd all been working quite hard.
Still had energy.
Yes, you did.
It was such a great day.
Yeah, thank you for submitting these, Doug. It was really sweet.
Thank you. And I will probably have to bounce off here because I think the delivery's coming very soon. But
all good. You can come in and out as you please. We're
I will.
A little bit.
All right.
Thank you.
Are we
Thank
ready
you.
for the next one?
So I'd like to say that we got a lot of submissions this event, which is great because it is the art share, so this is exactly what's supposed to happen. But due to the amount of submissions and wanting to make sure that we get to everyone, then give everyone an equal opportunity to be able to speak on their piece. It'll keep to about 3 minutes per art piece. So maybe one person or the artist gets to share, and then let's keep the rest of it in the chat. Is that okay? Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. Because I want to see
Go on to the
everything.
next artist.
I don't want to skip any of them.
I know, I don't want to either. I really want to make sure we get to see all of them. Raquel, would you like to speak on your art?
Again, sorry, cat is over here very needy. Well, I actually, if you asked this like a year ago, I probably would choose with someone that I had collaborated actually. But for some reason, this was taken like not even a month ago, and I, given the year that was, and for me, on a positive way, it was so much in learning and education and growth on me that I had to choose a self-portrait. And in this case, this actually happens a lot with me. I have the idea, but sometimes the idea comes after the shot is done. I don't know. Sometimes it's like, oh, this kind of brings me to that point. And over here, it was a bit like myself looking a bit like present, past, and future on other self, and trying to connect somehow, still being me, but it's saying so much more. So yeah, that's what we have. I don't want to like rob more time than that, and I'm very sleepy. Sorry.
Alexia said, this is stunning, Raquel. I love the framing of this image, and it's wonderful to hear about its creation. Jacqueline's also said it's beautiful. I feel like I can sense time passing in this image. It's so striking. Author says, takes my breath away. From my understanding of your work, Raquel, you started as a model collaborating with photographers, and more recently you've taken self-portraits.
On the contrary, I actually started with self-portraying, really with that, but then I didn't give the space and probably didn't have self-esteem to do so. So yeah, it went to work with others, but then with, well, COVID, it forced myself to just do my own shit again, basically. And yeah, it brought a lot to light that a lot of things was like, I had to learn first that, sure, I'm thankful to like have done a lot already, different things, and to learn, but at the same time, it allowed me like to know more like what are my limits now, and what I will want to do still or not. And by myself, it's like I explore whatever and see what works or not, and more strict to say on what I want, basically.
It's really good to hear. Nuna said, it's amazing to see where you were before. As a person that's worked with you, I love what you're doing. Your capture really reflects what you said. And then, is there anything else that we might want to add on to this one before we switch to the next one? Thank you all for your comments and your art submissions. This was really fun.
You ready for the next one?
Okay. Prana, are you around?
I don't see Prana on the attendees list, so maybe, yeah. There's two images that Prana submitted, so it's this one and the next image.
Maybe since Prana is not here, do we just want to allow people, like, let's take a minute or two. You can put it in the chat or you can voice it since the artist isn't here.
Meg said the lighting feels theatrical to me, which I love. I really admire the use of hands and facial expression. Ooh. I love how dense the vegetation is around the edges and then opens up to frame the subject. Mm-hmm. Does anyone want to discuss maybe where they see connection or how they see connection in this?
The pieces of earth or like bark or grass or whatever that is on Prana's shoulder make me think that they maybe were, I'm not sure Prana's pronouns, so I'm not sure if it's she or they, but it makes me think that maybe at some point they were like on the ground, because how else did the like dirt or whatever that is, maybe moss, like get stuck to the shoulder.
The imprint of the earth connection.
Mm-hmm. That's a really cool observation, Bunny. Jacqueline said, I agree the emotion and the facial expression is stunning. I think it's connection to self and earth.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to see the second image that was submitted?
Yeah.
Wow. Raquel said, I love prana work. Prana work goes a lot in nature, nude, and always very strong feeling connection towards it. Mm-hmm. Prana is also a self-portrait artist. Jacqueline said that contortion. I was just thinking about the shape of the arm. Mm-hmm. Meg said, I feel a sense of desperation for connection with the earth, which I can relate to. Mm.
There's an urgency in that shape. I love their work a lot. So, yeah. I love how you can see it looks like they had cupping done recently. I know that Prana also experiences chronic pain. I think they might actually be hypermobile as well. And I know that shoulders are like one of the most painful joints when you are a hypermobile person. And as we've spoken a bit about that, so it's interesting to see that, like, I know I've seen this image before, and I never noticed that you could see the cupping bruising on the shoulder. It's like the imprint of pain and the connection to sort of like the rituals of self-healing that are present to maintain this ability to move is something else that comes to my mind, seeing it blown up like this.
Jacqueline said that the contrition is severe. Raquel said that's an excellent point, Meg. I love the tension and twisting through the body, the way the hair is falling towards the ground, feeling like a strand connecting them to the earth. Doug said, both of Prana's images are powerful and inspiring, a seeking to connect with self and nature. Like the tones of the images, like the deep greens. Nuno says, almost looks like Prana's showing the path or following the path. It's a really great insight. Chase said ambiguity between pain and pleasure its own dance.
Mm.
Love that.
It's so good.
Are we ready for the next one?
I believe the photographer. Go for it.
I was wondering if any of the artists that were a part of this piece here, or if they didn't.
I believe it was the photographer that submitted it. So I would look for David. No. All right.
So.
I love the sense of momentum here, like the movement of all of this sort of like swirling energy. The papers, the hair.
There's a photograph with Salvador Dali where a cat in a glass of water, everything's like moving in motion in the photograph, and this kind of has that same effect with the papers. So Ron said the strength of connection to music is blowing the sheets away. That's a good observation. Raquel, the passion towards music. Douglas says, love the body paint being used to make one model an instrument. Jacqueline, the look on the cellos. Whoa. Face is so good and contrasting to the main image. As a cellist myself, this makes me smile in remembrance to a connection to my favorite instrument. Alexia said, I love the movement with the music and the hair, but then the stillness between the two subjects. Very much feels like no matter the chaos around them, the subjects would stay. Jack says, yes, I was going to comment the look in the painted model's face, adoring, loving, happy. It's very tranquil.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else anyone might want to add about this picture before we move on to the next one? Age-old meme of a female back resembling a cello, really. All right. Speaking of memes, is Bernie Sanders on everything meme that's happening to the internet right now? I don't understand the internet sometimes.
I love it.
This is really good. I like the curtain color in contrast and bringing in like the deep richness of that color, the color of the lipstick, the color of the hair, and the paint, the body paint. Mm-hmm. All right, Bunny. Yay! Let's see if the artist is here.
Yay. Can you hear me? Oh, you're very quiet.
Yeah, it's very low.
Hello?
Better.
Is that better?
We can try muting everybody else while Meg talks.
Okay. Hopefully you can hear me. This was taken on my 30th birthday back in November, and this is a self-portrait. I just felt super connected to my higher self and also the earth in this moment. I was honestly pretty deep in meditation, so I felt very candid. I didn't feel like I was posing. These images are just super sacred to me. And yeah, I feel honored for being able to share this.
Thank you so much, Meg. I totally get that. Like, this looks like you in church. Like, that's how, you know, like the way that you almost have a halo in the leaves, even, of that bronze color. Just, like, hovering above you.
Alexia says, I love the softness and energy in the hands. What a beautiful occasion. Jacqueline said that serenity is striking.
The flowing of the water behind kind of makes me think of like flowing emotions, like not stifling them and just letting them flow and happen. And I like that the water is pretty dark because I know that Meg does a lot of shadow work, so that kind of to me fits really well.
Sunny, do you want to switch to the next slide? Arthur, would you like to speak on your piece?
Does anybody want to weigh in before I weigh in on this one?
I just love how meta it is because you're taking a picture of another person taking a picture and no one's even looking at your camera, they're looking at the other guy's camera, and I love it. It's so good. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I've been, like, I don't know, like, ever since I've been taking concert photos, it's like, there's a compulsion to do that. Like, there's something about the translation and the connection of just the ones and zeros, like a copy of a copy of a copy, the kind of thing. But also, like, for this particular image, I'm a big fan of, like, just doing this stuff. Like, it's a miss of, like, these stages coming back and doing live and concerts and all that kind of stuff. But also, like, I really just wanted to kind of just, like, do an all-encompassing image of my city. And because it's always, like, there's this, like, negative condemnation of Fresno and just, like, there's nothing to do in Fresno. And I'm like, well, in May 16th, 2015, there was something. And I think, like, my existence of being, like, a citizen of Fresno, a native of Fresno, is to be that, is to be, like, I would never say that I'm an influencer, but I do have some bit of influence, and I'm like, hey, like, there's all this awesome shit happening. You know there is. It's just like, it's like it may not be appealing to you, but it is appealing. So it's like I gotta find these things. I have to go, and this is me finding this little event that didn't really get as promoted as it was, and it's just. There's something fascinating about this. I mean, not just the obvious, but like I just like this is my city holding me up. This is an allowance that I'm able to do. Rory said this in the last video, and it's like the idea of art is a communication. Like this is me communicating to everybody who's not from here. How, like, we can do this. This is possible. It's like, if you let us do this more, look at the possibilities. And there's something, like, in, like, 3 minutes, I'm just trying to make sure I don't go over. But for this particular thing, it's just, there's something so compelling about this, and it's just the communication of all these people allowing me to do this, because this is the first time I've ever done a stage shot like this before. This is the first time I've ever been able to go to a big concert like this before. It's the first, and there's something about like getting the connection of people not just allowing me to do this, but like God damn it, I deserve this shit. Like I've been shooting I've been shooting 3 years prior concerts, and I've been proving my worth. And it's just like, this is the fruits of that labor. This is all that connectivity coming from that particular moment. It's like, no, I deserve to be here. Like, and that's the proof as well. And so like that's the other thing that I'm communicating, in addition to all the stuff that's so obvious.
That was a really good share. Thank you, Arthur.
I love the energy in this picture, and also your like describing of it makes me feel even more like excited and energized, because I can feel your excitement for it in addition to like seeing the image. So it's like there's so much like positive, like uplifting, like powerful, like energy in this to me.
It's a rich history of music connecting people.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything anybody else wants to add to that?
I just want to read out the chats for a sec. Roger said, Citizens in Fresno is actually a show I might watch, which I love. And Jay mentioned that for connection in COVID times, a concert is the ultimate social connection that is sort of forbidden right now. So he described it as a photo about longing, and I really love that. I think that comes through, like, there's this, you're observing like this circular exchange between the camera and the hands, and it's the past reaching forward to be passed on, knowing, you know, that this time capsule of a photo is going to be shared onward and connecting us to future versions of ourselves and past versions of ourselves. This was a great submission. Thank you. I love. Jacqueline said, I'm a musician as well, and live music is the closest thing to a religious experience I've ever had, totally. Arthur said, capturing music is such a silent endeavor, so to convey all that in just a moment means the world to me. Thanks, everyone. That's super sweet. Thank you for sharing this, Arthur. Are we ready to move on to the next one? Oh, and Meg said, I also want to add there's emphasis on black bodies taking up space, which is super important. Yeah, that's definitely an important variable to this piece. Thank you for speaking to that, Meg. Oh, is Art with us today to share?
I guess not. I think I see him on the agenda.
Yeah, I don't see him on the list. We can totally unmute ourselves for this part too to comment on these, because Art isn't here to speak for his own work, nor is Liv, I wish. Jacqueline mentioned.
Okay, I can't tell if this is a photograph or a painting. Is it a painting?
It looks like a picture. I know Art is a photographer by nature, but he does really like to play with, like, he can get really funky with edits.
I love the way that the lighting is highlighted in this. It's kind of like cutting through the sections of her body. I love it.
Almost like flames or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw do you see the number and like there's a 9 over kind of next to her hip? It looks like this was probably medium format film that got light leaked, is my guess. Because that looks like the backing paper of medium format film on the side, on the left side of her.
Good eye.
I just love film.
Nuno said that light, that pose, all so vibrant and so calm. There's definitely that tension. And maybe a lomographic camera. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready for the next one? Alexia, would you like to speak on YouTube?
Okay, so this is a photograph of myself and another local model, Susie. And I chose this one for connection because Susie's someone who reached out to me a number of times to collaborate. And it was really nice because she'd reach out when I was sick and not working and kind of be like, hey, just come back, come do a thing, and kind of helped me stay connected to that part of myself and that the art community here, which was really important to me because it was 6 months since I'd had a shoot, and I'd be going, I don't know if I can do this anymore, and I don't know, and she'd be like, no, it's fine, just come do this thing with me. So, and originally, this was kind of part of an ongoing project she was doing called the Sisterhood Project, where she was working with a lot of different local women to kind of show that the connection there. I just really love this photo.
The light and shadows are really cool. Thank you for sharing this picture.
Roger mentioned that you two look very close to twins, not just siblings. I think like there's definitely a mirage that's happening with the way that the light and shadow is, like so almost eerie the way that you mirror each other. I love it.
Yeah, not only the connection between both of them and like the camera or photographer or audience or participant in viewing the work, but also the connection between each other, even though they're not like directly facing each other, there's still a connection. And Alexia submitted 2 images, so your next image is in the next slide.
Roger followed up with, since I have spent a modest amount of time staring at your face, and I switched which one of these 2 beings is you 3 times so far. Wow, that's amazing. Venetian blinds, this must be film noir. I love it.
There's almost a protection to this piece, too. The woman in the back being protective of the exposed woman in the front.
It's a really cool observation. Bunny, do you want to switch to the next slide? I'm curious to see Alexia's other submission. Wow.
So this one I also included last minute. And this one's really interesting because the other person in the frame with me on this one, I had never met before this day, and we've had no connection since this day, aside from the occasional Instagram like or something. But for the couple of hours that we were collaborating on this shoot, there was a really strong connection. And I just find it so interesting how there's some connections that will last a long time and have, some impact on you, and then there's others that will just be a moment, but will just stick with you forever. Also, I just really love this photo too.
Would anyone like to share on it before we go to the next piece of art?
Meg says, this gives me hope that we all have the ability to connect, and I am so feeling that. I miss that little blip of what it is to meet someone and collaborate in a shared space, the way that we would just sort of like jump in and be, powerfully vulnerable and in close quarters with each other, and sort of like the fearlessness that now we think about it engaging in these close quarters with someone that you don't really know. And, like, it was so powerful in that moment. And yet we think about it now and we're like, oh, would you take the risk now? Oh, I don't know. But, like, you know, it's so precious to be able to have that, that boldness. Jay says, I really like the historic vibes. I totally am feeling that. Even though I'm sure it was only like last year, it does have these like, oh, there was before the Dust Bowl. Like that was like before, you know, like our collective drama began. A throwback to simpler times. I love that. Raquel said breathtaking. And Meg said timeless. I love all of these. Ron says, this reminds me of the intimacy I've lost in my life. I completely feel that. Like, yeah.
I think part of the reason it has a historic feel to it as well is that it was taken by a digital camera, but looking through the viewfinder of one of the really, I don't remember the name of the type of the camera, but the kind that you look down on top to.
Oh, wait, oh, yeah.
So it was taken digitally, but through that.
Brilliant.
Through that other camera. And then the photographer did also take a couple film as well, but I think this one was digital through the film camera.
That's brilliant. Arthur said all these pieces are period pieces now, and I love it because it's not wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm ruined.
Right. In the interest of seeing all the art, I'm sad to leave this image, but can we switch to the next slide? Oh, Anka told me that she would not be able to join us today, so.
I feel like there's a restlessness to this photo. It's really beautiful. I love the highlighted sections, but I feel like there's just a restlessness in the woman who's being held.
I totally agree. Almost like, what is she, like, she's thinking about being somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Not present. Like, they're connected physically, but she's, like, sort of disconnected emotionally, or, yeah. That's so interesting.
Like she's trying to decide whether she wants to be there or not.
I love that observation.
Alexia commented on the lighting in this photo. Just like looking through a telescope or something. Roger said the person being held has the exact same chin and cheekbones as Leor. That's funny. From that angle, that's pretty believable. You're not wrong. Ready? Am I looking longingly?
It's gonna look more like you don't want to be there, like you're ready to leave. I'm holding cookies off to the side, Leor.
Oh, I guess I'm just having such a good time where I am. I can't even pretend.
Do you want to go to the next slide, Bunny? Nana, would you like to share?
Nina was here, but from me looking at the screen, it looks like his screen is frozen, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I know when I was looking at the submission, he had mentioned that there were like 50 other people that were a part of this project. So he was just naming like himself and Raquel. I guess maybe Raquel is on the cover. Maybe. I don't want to assume, but since he named Raquel and that's the image that we're seeing, maybe Raquel could let us know. Hopefully, can speak on it. Oh, wait.
Looks like he dropped out and maybe is going to jump back in. He's probably having a connection problem.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know what was his submission, so I slid into his DM like real life. But yeah.
Well,
Nuno rejoined us. Nuno, are you able to speak? Are you back? Well, maybe if Nuno rejoins and is able to speak on it later, we can invite him.
So should we go to the next slide and then ask Nuno to rejoin later?
Yeah, I think it makes sense to let him.
Yeah, because we can always come back to this one.
Oh, wait!
Oh, is he here?
And then Nuno comes back.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
Sorry. the net in here is breaking all over the place. This is my last piece of art that I made, and it's I choose this because it's a bunch of moments and places I have been and the connection. I tagged Raquel because she's in the book, so it's one of the persons. I do all the books myself, so I stitch all of them and make everything come together. So yeah, that's it. I had to make something that shows the connection I had for 7 years with everybody that's in it. It's more than 50 persons, and there isn't all of them. So yeah, it's a brilliant I have made, and brilliant connections all of these years. It's available on, well, you can talk with me on my Instagram, and it's available there. I ship everywhere if it's possible. So it's yes, I sent. Just a second. If you have any questions. I should have put more images in here from landscapes and, well, shots taken with models. My bad. Sorry. Oh, and yeah, about the photo on display. Yeah. This is one of the captures that I like the most because there isn't connection, and there is a bunch of connection in there with nature. So I wanted to finish this project. I hadn't the time for it, but the main it's the connection with the nature, and then the connection with everybody in the disco. It's transplanting that from okay. So yeah.
I like the vastness of it.
Yeah, a single point in the vest. Yeah. And this represents one of the connections that I had. This I normally when I shoot it's the person does whatever she wants, so it's perfect that I took this moment, this little capture, and it comes all together. It's fantastic. So.
It's really cool that you do from start to finish the photography, the concept, and then hand binding the book. That's really interesting. Thank you for sharing the artwork with us. We switch to the next slide, buddy. Is Ellen here?
Oh yeah, for the record, because Meg mentioned in the chat, Nuno, can you link your Instagram? We definitely will send out the PDF afterward to everybody who has come, and we will link each of the artists to their websites if you provide your website. So if you haven't provided your website or your Instagram and you would like to, you can just send that over to me and I'll make sure that gets in there.
Yeah, or in the chat.
I'll put in here.
I don't think Ellen is here.
I was just going to say that, Bunny.
But I love these.
I really love the blue one. From like the shapes of the bodies are all different from each other, and I love that they're different colors.
Yeah, I'm drawn to the blue one too.
Would anyone like to share how they might see connection within this?
I like to imagine maybe the pieces are like shaped based on people that are in Ellen's life, or maybe maybe it's based off of Ellen's body and maybe people Ellen cares about. I like to think of it that way anyway, since I don't actually know.
Jacqueline mentioned, I think women's bodies are often shamed in the media, and the diversity here makes me think of connections between women. I love that. And just to extend it and make it even more universal, I think bodies in general are kind of shamed for like being bodies at all.
Yeah.
So having like the modeled skin, like the different colors, they're bright, they're unapologetic, they're textured, they're sort of like opulent and shapely, but they're not uniform and symmetrical. They feel super like organic and honest. And that definitely makes me feel like more connected to the reality of what it is like to have a body. which connects us to each other, right? When we're honest about, like, having a body's weird. It's kind of inconvenient sometimes. It's awkward and embarrassing, and it's also fun and pleasurable other times, but I love how much space they take up, like we're here, Jacqueline, that said. I love that. Roger says, this evokes a more temporal connection to me of a womb bearer's body as they progress through pregnancy and after, like the transformation within one body. I didn't even think of that. That's so interesting. And Nuno said, it's perfect to show that there's so many types of body shapes. I love all of the different experiences that we're able to have in this one, like, microcosm that Ellen sent us.
Yeah. I think personally seeing breast shapes that are different and not just like up here and perky and very what we've been trained or conditioned to see in specifically like pornographic material, right? Like there's different sizes and shapes, and I appreciate seeing that. And I mean, the other thing is that they're bodies without a gender attached or without a head attached, so could be anything. Shall we switch to the next slide? Whoa, Ron, would you like to speak on your piece?
Ron, are you here with us? I see a Ron on our list.
I do.
Is the Ron?
I think so.
So it looks like Ron might not have Ron. Or do you have your audio enabled? Because it looks like you don't even have the option to be unmuted right now, which might mean that your audio is not connected. So in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, there's like the 3 blue buttons, mute audio and video, and they all have to be blue. If they're gray or red, then it might not be connected. Roger says, I can feel the nap energy in this shot. That human is linked to the nap.
Yes.
I love that. Raquel says, yes, Roger, was just saying that napping chill. This looks like ultimate serenity to me.
Yeah.
Ron, you could always share in the chat too, and we can read it for you if it's not working to get the audio connected. Jacqueline says, a total lack of shame and embarrassment. That is key. Like the dirty feet, like it's just like kicking back. It's complete, like, natural, just existence.
Yeah. To me, it feels like ownership of the space. Like, this is my home. This is what I do. I'm just completely connected and chill here. Mm-hmm.
Like home. Like this could be your living room. Like that log is your couch.
Yes. I think the dirty feet is my favorite part of it, to be honest. And like how they're like kind of dangling, like partially maybe touching the water below, because I think that's water.
It looks like water.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you switch to the next slide, Penny?
Oh, Ross says, I guess I don't have much to add. You're hitting some good points. Alrighty. Wow, that's great.
We got an insightful group of folks. Very observant.
We gave you words when technology is All right, Jay, you're up. Do you want to speak about your art?
Hello. I guess for me, I was pleased to kind of change my mind with the submission. I kind of chose a very cynical thing for connection at first, and then I felt grumpy about that. Then I kind of rethought about it, and then I wanted to be not grumpy. And so then I chose this because it made me happy. It's about connection, and the connection is kind of like long and storied, and it's like not necessarily like a typical relationship. But for me, it's kind of multi-layered kind of language within the image, and for me it's like, I guess, like using this kind of vernacular photography, for me it's like another choice in this kind of connection, but I feel like I wanted to choose something that felt like genuine on my part as an offering to the group too, as part of that connection. So I didn't want to be cynical in my choice. So this choice is about being genuine in terms of my voice as an offering here too. So that's kind of what I was thinking.
Thank you for that share.
Jacqueline says, it's very honest. Raquel says, I feel home, genuine, and intimate. I think my favorite part of this whole composition is he's just flirting with the toothbrush in his fingers. Like he's gonna, like, I could see it twirling in the next shot or something. You know, it feels like I'm getting best friend vibes. Like, I let you smell my dirty socks vibes. Like, this intimate closeness, almost like sharing a burrow with someone.
Yeah.
Meg says, feels like real life, and also gives me a transient energy, the exciting energy of travel and adventure.
Yeah, I guess like a backstory that's interesting. Like, he's a very close friend. I only see every very couple of years, but we have these like insanely, almost like kinetic meetings. So like we'll have this intense meeting in a hotel room, and we'll just have like a 2-day conversation, then we won't see each other for a year. So it's like this kind of like weird, yeah. So for me, we have a lot of weird connections. Like we lived in the same building, but a decade apart. Like we had a lot of weird things. So like even our meeting was strange, but like, but there's kind of like a running joke of kind of like making fun of each other. So for me, with the toothbrush, it's kind of like me kind of calling out his flirtation with it. Like Leo's observation with that was kind of very accurate. Like I think it was him kind of like, I'm going to be clean and dirty with this like anal toothbrush thing, and him being like kind of just like me, like little kid, bratty. So like for me it was like that, and then I could kind of like make his eyes red. I could make him like a cat. I can kind of like take ownership over him and kind of like make him into my pet. So it's kind of like a playful back and forth, you know?
Yeah, it's like fighting, like big brother, little brother sort of vibes. Like, that's totally, like almost like nesting dolls. Nuno says, this screams real life so much, and that is the critical point for me to enjoy this so much. Just stills of life. I love that. Especially the visual chaos and like the little things, the tchotchkes. Like normally, you know, in a composed image, you would never allow for that kind of noise. But here we have like the pattern on the couch, and you have all of the books and the little knickknacks, and it says like nest, like it's like this wasn't designed, it just is. So sweet. Great share, Jay. Thank you. How do we feel? Are we ready for the next one? Lydia, are you with us? Would you like to share?
Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Yay, you can hear me. Fantastic. So, as per usual, I fell asleep again, and then I had tons of technical difficulties. So this is like my theme with this Saturday afternoon crowd. I don't know why that is. Anyway, I think I have a solution. I think I figured it. I think I found the thing, or all these things. Yeah, so what I am going to share with all of you is oh God, it's so rough. Basically, it's a performance of body worship, which is sort of like this concept that I was developing when I was first beginning my erotic performance art methodology. So I have like this performance, and I have rehearsal footage from it, and I have performance footage from it, but it's all just sort of like uncompiled. I'm trying to like find ways of stabilizing it right now, and it's just so much, and I thought I was going to be able to like manage on the, anyway, I just stop talking and share the thing. Okay. Can you make be able to like share my situation? How does this work?
I think I can the presenter.
You're a little fuzzy. I can't hear you.
I'm going to see if I can switch the presenter. I think it'll let you present.
Right. Maybe it's the fact that my camera's not plugged in. Maybe that's the thing.
So, Lydia, did you submit this image that's on the screen?
That's my performance partner. Yeah.
Gotcha. So the context is that this is the person that you're performing with in the clip that you're going to share.
Yeah, this is like because I obviously I'm struggling to get the clip together. It's basically, it was like a whole placeholder image.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Are you able to give us like a 1 or 2 minute clip? Is it in like
I'm trying to think about that, yeah, because it's definitely not 1 or 2 minutes. I'm trying to find like I think I know what like moments in the performance make sense for that. From the rehearsal. Anyway, so yeah, what are we able to do with sharing my thing?
I think it will let me switch. I don't know if it'll like ask you anything.
You just have to make sure you switch back so that the recording stays with the count.
Yeah, it should still record everything. Okay, so it should let you.
Yeah, here we go.
So, Bunny, you have to go back to, like, unlock your view. Like, so there you go. Yeah. Now we got Lydia's screen, right? Everyone can see that?
I can see it.
Yeah, that works. I think it's all happening. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm such a disaster. I really appreciate your help. Yes, this is the thing that I want. Come on. Do the thing. All right. I don't know why it's not full screen. It's really strange.
I love the colors of the lights that you chose for this.
She wanted to get to Alicia's face because she thought that was really beautiful on this side. So they do it.
Pretender.
Jacqueline says, I love the look in her eyes, the measured motions and focusing on the hands and the sensations through them.
Yeah. Trying to find the thing that I'm trying to specifically share with you guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe this is what I was thinking. Yeah, maybe this is the one I was thinking about. She's asking us to do it again so she can get it from this angle. This is what I wanted to show you. So. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's back where we started. So yeah, this is kind of like what I wanted to share. I'll leave it playing if you guys want while I'm trying to talk. Maybe I'll share the this performance while I'm messing with it. So yeah, trying to think what to say about it. Basically, I was I'm just going to go back. Basically, I was trying to get her to just experience touch, like without filter, essentially. Like she lies down at the beginning, and I am just like engaging with sensation with her body, and just honoring her body and trying to engage with her and listen to her body with my sensations as much as possible, such that there's just like such a potent connection between us. Like our nerves and our nerve sensors are just like really like heightened as much as possible, such that there's just so much electricity. And this was like sort of a technique that I had developed through orgasmic meditation and just like sensual massage and just sex with partners. And so I created this performance art piece to, just like see what that feels like for an audience, you know? And I mean, even just rehearsing with Alicia was fascinating because of how much she had to participate, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's like to be worshipped and like to allow that was like an interesting thing that we talked about a lot. About perception, about touch, about intimacy. It was all really fascinating. So yeah, responses?
Super gorgeous. Meg says, I feel the healing through just simply watching. I feel safety. Jacqueline says you can feel the immersion into into one another. Like touch is so powerful. Sort of that transmission of.
I would often, like, this was around the time when I was doing, like, when I would do, like, solo burlesque pieces, I would do them in silence just to, like, really heighten the level of intimacy. And this performance was done all in silence with theater in the round. So, like, the house was packed, and we're just, like, there in the middle of the stage, like, doing this extraordinarily slow situation. It was really fascinating.
I love silence as a frame for potentiality as well. Like that is such a. It really makes people like sit with like their sensations in just full focus. Like there's no distractions. There's nothing but that. Meg echo that silence is so powerful. Yes. Just I feel like a quietness even when I watch the way that the hands move. There is like a silence to them in a way that it's just sort of like really carefully exploring the other's body. Which I think is special. Anytime that you're able to move slow enough that you're going on the other person's body time, like allowing them to sort of guide the sensation, it's extremely difficult to tune into that level, and I can like hear how hard you're listening.
Yeah.
Jacqueline said, because of all the distractions we have in our lives, the silence can be really uncomfortable for people. Totally. I agree. And Meg said, thank you so much for sharing this. This was super special. Lydia, do you want to go ahead and make Bunny presenter again? And I'm sure that Lydia would love to share more of her artwork with y'all. So we will be sure to add the links to that page on there too.
Yeah, I think I will. I don't know if I'll do it presently. I have so much on my to-do list right now, so like cutting this into like some sort of like publishable rendition of it probably won't be happening this month or next month. So thank you for the invitation though.
Yeah, but your socials, right? So like places that people can sort of like prepare themselves to receive the work whenever it becomes experienceable.
So it looks like my camera doesn't work. Is that what I'm looking at? I just have like a big.
Yeah, it's just been like a nice turquoise blue the whole time.
I kind of love it. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm actually having a lot of trouble with this app. Like, I can't get my audio to click in, so I'm calling you from my phone. Like, I know it's convenient for y'all, but, like, I absolutely despise, like...
It's okay. We talked about having to upgrade to Zoom. We know.
Okay,
we just, like, want to be able to do naked stuff, and Zoom is so, like, weird, and, like, we want to listen in on your conversations and make sure that you're not naked. Like, can you just let us live?
I don't know. No opinion. No comment on that one, yeah.
Hopefully things will be more smooth on the technical front in the future. Are we ready for the next piece of art? I think we have one left, right?
Thanks. Can everybody see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Aha!
Oh, break time for potty. Wait, are you sure, Bunny? Can you refresh? Because I feel like I added one more in there.
Okay.
I think Jackson's drawing should be there.
Okay. I'll stop sharing and refresh. And
I'm pretty sure.
Let's see.
Did they show up?
Still loading. Aha, there it is.
Aha!
Alright. And then I'm going to present again.
Alright, Jacqueline, it's your time to shine.
Okay. Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for adding these at the last minute. I I totally suck for not having them submitted on time. So the image on the left of the two women is it's watercolor ink. It's liquid watercolors over top of a pencil sketch. And I'm really in love with galaxy colors, especially when using watercolor because of the way it blooms and the dispersion of the pigment, and being able to wash through that with water or carbonated water or even salt water, and the different textures that you get from doing that. I think my favorite thing about that piece is the look on the woman who has the blue in her hair, that look of, I don't know if, like, to me it says, I don't know if this is okay, but I'm comfortable. And then the other piece on the right, I wish I could remember whose photo it was. I saw these photos. It was a whole set on Instagram of this elderly couple doing a shibari set. And there was like 10 photos of this couple. And it was so beautiful. When I saw the photos, I started crying. Like, it was just like the connection between these two people, and the love and the trust and the just everything. And so I used this photo as a reference. And I just love how it's almost like they're the same person. You can really feel that they are so into one another still at this point in their lives, that I just thought it was so beautiful. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. I would never have guessed that the couple was like in a rope scene. Like, that's crazy. I didn't, but like now you say that, I do see the stuff around the wrist and the fingers and the shoulder. Like, it's not a shirt strap. It's totally precious. And I think I know the photo set that you're talking about as well. I'm definitely will try to find it, and I'll link it as well if we come across it.
Yeah, I have on my Instagram post, I have them tagged. I know I have it somewhere. I just hate to use people's references without giving them credit for, you know.
Yeah. We'll try to find that and include that when we send out the final PDF. Really gorgeous, gorgeous. Mm-hmm. I love the way that you allowed the galaxy colors, like, it doesn't even look abnormal. You know, like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I know the shadows aren't fuchsia, but like, my mind is so like, soul and body, like, here for that moment, that it's like, yes, the highlight was pink and everything else was just nothing. Like, that is true. That's how it was.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
It's like you chose like the colors that like express the that moment. Like if it was like a haiku, you just spot on. You like named it with that emotion. Really, really gorgeous. Meg said that she had to head out, but thanks so much for holding space, and thanks to everyone for coming together to connect. And Lydia said, I love the use of watercolors and inks. It's such a lovely medium. I totally agree. It sort of feels like we're in space and underwater at the same time.
Yes. I love the way that you painted it, because like you have enough lines that we know like what the subject is, and like we can tell what's happening, but like there's also like some, like, it's not necessary that you have everything perfectly lined, because like for instance the hand on the left image in the bottom left corner like starts to disappear into the skin of the other person, and it like, and then also like the hands in the right image, they kind of like, you can tell it's hands, but also like they kind of morph into each other, and I really love that. Like there's a connection there and a like morphing together that is beautiful.
Negative space was really hard for me to work with when I first started painting. I felt like everything needed a line, everything needed a color, everything needed to be super detailed. But as I kind of went on, there's so much subtlety in not having everything so detailed. And there's so much emotion that you can convey through lack of detail and lack of color, sometimes more than you can with that really intense detail. And I'm glad that you noticed that, Bunny, about the hand blending in and then the couple's hands. Like, that was kind of my point. It's like, when we're so connected to somebody, sometimes we don't know where we start and they, where we end and they start, or vice versa. And I just thought that was a really interesting concept.
Thank you.
Yeah, that vision comes through so clearly. Like, the use of white space is really expertly done. I know the compulsion to fill everything, and it's like, sort of when you first start writing and your sentences are so long and so full of description, and it's like there's no even space to experience it, and you've like left these pockets to contemplate the piece, like on the canvas itself. It's really lovely. So, all right, are we ready to take a break, y'all? No, I need some water.
Yeah, so we're technically over time already because we were supposed to end 24 minutes ago.
I thought we were,
from 1 to 2:30, so we're over time, y'all. So the only images that we have left are the 6 images that we co-created together during the Backstage Pass event. So if y'all want to just look at those and then we'll finish. I put this break time in there because I assumed we would want to break, but also we're over time so we can see what everybody's feeling like doing.
Yeah, we could just pop through them if we want.
Yeah, let's do those. That's a good suggestion, Bunny.
Cool.
So a little context for this. Bunny had a roll of film. In their photography series, they shoot double exposures, typically nature, and then they'll shoot a human person on the roll of film. And during Going Beyond the Lens, we invited folks to pose Lior with the additional context of what good communication looks like for co-creators. What is the body's limitations? What's the energy level like? What are things that are Lior's strengths and weaknesses? And how do we utilize all that information to create together? And I think there were some really cool suggestions thrown in there based on Bunny's description of what was on the roll of film, what they'd captured already, and how in some points, Lior could be fit into that to work with the background, which is super cool. Do you have you have the credits on here of who directed the pose. That's super cool.
Yeah, I really love how all of these came out. The whole role is just so amazing, and I actually had to get the end of the role, which is where we co-created together with the participants. I had to get that whole section of the roll re-scanned because the scanner scanned the wrong piece, and it would cut Lior off halfway through, and I was like, this doesn't work. We need to rescan this. So it took me a little bit to get the rescan, but we got them, and they're so good.
I love the way the highlight of the mountain range cuts right across my cheekbone. And that, the eye socket is, part of the mountain behind it. That came out so, perfectly lined up.
Yeah. You see where your thigh is kind of, highlighted / blends in? It's almost like when in Photoshop you have a layer and you're putting something in front of it, an image behind and in the background.
Yeah.
So naturally, you're in between yet not at the same time. Blending.
Alexia said, I love how the shadows and the skin tone matches the bottom half of the landscape. Totally. Oh, Doug said the demi-godling spread across the landscape.
Yes.
And Raquel says, thank you for the extra work, Bunny. It's insane to see the creations from perspectives of people that were so far away. Jacqueline says, it almost as if the body is the wave. Yeah, Roger's cue was to twist as much as possible. Oh, Roger said he's going to need to print him out for the wall. I think you actually do. I think we definitely need to give you one.
I can send you the high-res scan. I can email you a high-res scan if you want it.
We chose to share these during this event, not just because it was the next event, because the topic was connection. As Raquel pointed out, like being able to connect over long distances, especially during COVID when we haven't been able to see each other in some instances, I haven't met a lot of the folks. So that was super cool that I felt really connected in creating something together as a group, a unit. Penny, do you want to switch to the next slide? Wow! Alexia, this is your posing.
I am so impressed by how this turned out. Like, the way that the face is totally lined up, like mouth, chin, nose, with the ridge in the distance.
Yeah, somehow there's almost always little miracles like that happen in these double rolls. Like, I never have any idea how they're going to turn out. And there's always some kind of like magical surprise like that. Like something just fits perfectly and you have no idea. It just like naturally happens that way. That's part of the magic of doubles for me. Like you have no idea and it still happens like this.
This is really cool.
Alexia said the body just is the mountain range and then the arms perfectly mimic the trees. It's magic. Ron said the hand reaching into the sky. Yeah, I love that. Doug says the ghost hand summoning the storm. I love that. Yeah, because it is sort of like a tumultuous looking sky. And Roger said the thumb hooked across the frame separator is chilling in the best way. I agree. Also, the middle finger on that hand looks like sort of crazy. Like it's going inside of that cave. Like I'm grabbing the landscape almost. Like we're literally pushing through it. So interesting.
Yeah.
Shall I go to the next image, Penny? Wow.
What?
I love that your hair disappeared.
That's
I knew that it probably would, because dark things tend to disappear. Like, they get covered up by the other things that are brighter. You just...
Roger says, you said grabbing the landscape. I see fingering the cavern. That's definitely what I also saw. Ron said, I'm going into the earth, totally. I love how, like, this is not only a connection between all of us, but also think back to, like, the 10 years ago version of me who got this tattoo done that took 2 years. So it's actually a connection and a collaboration also between Verb, who did my tattoo. Because it's like that landscape is just as much like a layer in there as the body, as the you know, mountains range behind it. So interesting.
The mountains almost look like a curtain around your body because it took up the space where your hair would be. It almost looks like a curtain kind of covering around you.
Yeah, like a shroud. Something to like get warm in.
Like, are you wearing nature? Are you Mother Nature? Is that what's happening?
Love it. Jacqueline said, I was about to say that, Rory. Alexia says, I love how the colors in the tattoo are more vibrant versions of the same colors in the landscape around you. Oh my God, you are not wrong. I just saw it. yeah, like the purple and the fuchsia in the hair and the strip that's next to the fox's mouth are like the same jewelly shades.
Yeah.
So cool. Are we ready for the next one? Here we go.
What?
Oh, Don. I remember the cue for this one. He was like, just look out like you're looking across a landscape. Well, he totally did it. It's funny, though. We were imagining it was going to be on the left of the side, and I ended up in the center of 2 frames. No, Doug said it kind of makes the head become invisible the way that the hair totally fades away. Ron says, torn between 2 versions of the same reality. Totally. I love that.
Yeah. I was thinking, because there's 2, it could be past and present, and because you're in the center, well, past and future, and then because you're in the center, you could be present.
Totally. Ooh!
So it's funny because when we originally intended this image together, we thought, oh, you'd be off to the left, but then being in the middle, it can add different perspective.
Yeah.
It turned out really lovely.
I'm
really excited about them.
Are we ready for the next one?
Yeah, I think there's 2 more.
Oh, I remember this. Rosé's prompt was, I remember the movement. I don't remember what I was being asked to do. Something about, like, if we were just, like, giving birth to a landscape, like, how would that happen?
Yeah, like breathing life into it, I think. Because I remember you connected the breath to it. Yeah.
Raquel says the Matrix. Totally.
I like the movement in it.
Yeah, the one hand the camera, like, totally disappears.
It looks like on the left side that the mountain is actually coming forward to engulf you. Like it's trying to come around your body.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, it really has, like, a massive presence sort of, like, coming in.
So it's really cool.
Oh, right. The Matrix was what Roger brought up about the little girl. That was the story. That was, like, part of the prompt. Yes, thank you. Yes. Y'all are so creative. Like,
yeah.
I love it. Like, that is where we started from in this. I forgot that's where we, like, wow.
Go to the next one, Bunny.
I think this is the last one.
Oh my god.
Wow.
This might be my favorite one.
It's probably, to me it looks like you're almost like falling back, like you're like trust falling into the landscape almost.
Oh my god, Alexia just literally, as you said that, Bunny, Alexia just commented, this one feels like a trust fall into nature. I'm dead. I love it. And Roger confirmed, yes. Oh, that's what my function would be as part of the program in the Matrix. Nuna says this is fantastic. Doug said, marvel at my creation, mortals. As like the quote to this demigod. I love that. Jacqueline said, serenity.
Oh, I was going to say, as Mother Earth, you're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I did that.
I worked really hard. It's gorgeous. I know you love it.
And the 7th day is rest.
Wow, Raquel says, I mean, gonna cry. This just came so wow to life and was texted to you. This is insane, the Freeman connection to Earth. I love that.
Oh yeah, during the event, we were having difficulties and Raquel had text in, and then I think I read it out loud, and then this was your interpretation. So even through different mediums and methods of communication, this was able to be captured.
Yes. Like, thank God we stuck with it, right? And we were like, no, we can do it. It's okay that you're at work. It's okay that that our internet went out and we blew a fuse right before the event. All this crazy stuff was happening, and we were like, no, we're collaborating. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, through the technical difficulties to get there. So trying to be considerate, we plugged in a heater into the same wall that we plugged in some computers, and then that same wall actually happened to be the router, which took the Wi-Fi out.
Yeah, we blew fuse, and we were at an Airbnb. We were like, oh crap, where even is the fuse to reset it? And yeah, that was.
We didn't. Well, we did a really good job of problem solving. We were like, you know what? Actually, let's just take all the stuff that was plugged in that wall, move it to another wall, and then get online and do this thing.
Yeah.
We troubleshooted that shit. Yep. Arthur said, it's as Mother Earth is here, waiting for everyone to see her and waiting for an embrace. I love that. Yes, like, where are my children? Assemble! Like, waiting for a bunch of birds to, like, come and, like, just, like, perch. Yes. Nuna said, this would be fantastic in a wall. I agree. I want prints for my wall now.
Yeah. Thank you all who showed up to the Going Beyond the Lens, Beyond the Scenes, the Backstage Pass. That was a super cool event. Definitely cherish that time and energy creating together and learning more about each person and their perspective and how they saw or envisioned Leewa's posing. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, it was so sweet to, like, get to do that experiment of, like, learning to just try and uncover what, you know, like, you have a kernel of something in you, and even through all of these layers of things that make it difficult to communicate, we're still able to, like, help coax that out of each other and, like, experience that together and play with that energy together, and that's, like, well, such a gift. Like, talk about, you mentioned loneliness at the beginning of this, like, or the lack of intimacy, and, like, that was a moment of intimacy that, like, really felt like I just held it with me.
That was super cool.
Yeah, it was a really special event. I'd like to see that again.
Totally.
We've been scheming up ways to make that event bigger and better. We definitely enjoyed that. It was something that was the highlight of the week. We close out the art share. Is that the last thing that we have?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you all for your time and energy, submitting your art, sharing who you are, showing up. All of this is wonderful, and definitely during COVID when it's so hard to be connected, this makes me feel connected. Thank you for being here.
Special. Thank you so much. Jacqueline said thank you so much for having me, and I can't wait for the next one. We are going to be trying to do these every month, so hopefully we'll get to keep experiencing each other's artwork and watch the way that we grow and change over time and get connected to each other. We'll be sharing everyone's social stuff if you included that info so we can cross-pollinate and continue sharing affirmations. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes. It's always so wonderful to spend time with y'all, and I love seeing everybody's work and all the different perspectives. Copying the chat so that I make sure get all of the things that everybody sent.
Okay, you're getting the transcript this time?
Yeah, unless there's some new stuff that has just come in that I haven't gotten, but I just copied it, so hopefully I have it.
Awesome. Yay! Thank you all so much. We will hopefully see you next week. I mean, month. What am I saying? Ah!
Thank you all. Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Go nourish yourself. Get some food and water. That's like first of mine.
Thank you for everything.